Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to AdamMcKola TV. So it's all going off at Old Trafford, it seems, right now. Yesterday, we heard reports that some of the dressing room had begun to turn against Erik ten Hag. A sense of deja vu for Manchester United fans. Obviously, we heard the reports from journalists that aren't very reliable. The likes of Lockhurst, the likes of Cave at Sky, etc., etc., were coming out with these reports in regards to Erik ten Hag and the dressing room, suggesting there was a little bit of a split. And today, we have seen Erik ten Hag and Manchester United ban those journalists that reported on that or made it up, whichever one you want to believe, and then went on to do his press conference saying that the dressing room were behind him. So it all seems to be going off at the moment. Manchester United every day are a news story. We know that. And it leads to plenty of headlines, some which could be true, some which aren't. We know that. And as Manchester United fans, we kind of have to take every story we see with a pinch of salt, because we know we've seen that famous, I think it was Martin Samuel who made that famous quote about journalists having to write about Manchester United because that's what all the eyes were on. That's where all the money was. That's where all the clicks were. So it's hard to believe a lot of stories that you see. It's hard to decipher what's real and what's not when it relates to Manchester United. But this is what we're hearing at this moment in time. After a season so far that has been pretty abysmal for Manchester United. Last season, Erik ten Hag did fantastically well. We got third spot. We got a cup in the bag. Champions League football returns. And you're thinking, right, let's go into this season. We brought in a few players. Let's push on. Now, we've had a lot of injury problems, which I don't think is spoken about as a lot at Manchester United. It seems to get talked about at Spurs and at Newcastle and at various other clubs. But throughout the season, United have had, double digits in terms of injuries and some big key players being missing. But the results haven't been good enough. There's been times where we've had enough in terms of the squad and the players to get a better result than we have done. And everyone, including Man United fans, are scratching their heads, looking around, thinking, what the hell is going wrong? Is it the players? Is it the manager? Is it both? Is it, the culture at the club? Is it the ownership? Is it just a combination of all these different things going wrong for Manchester United at the moment? The ownership situation's up in the air. We're hearing next week we could get some confirmation and clarity on the Ineos deal with the Glazers. But so far, it's just been a whole load of bad results on the pitch. We seem to get a few results going well. Last week with the informed Premier League team. And then you have not just a result like we did at Newcastle, but the performance like we did at Newcastle. And again, you're going, what the hell is going on? Could have been so different had we not had those couple of goalkeeper mistakes against Galatasaray. You win there, you're feeling a bit more confident. But things aren't going well at Manchester United at the minute. And we're all trying to find out what's going wrong. Am I still behind Erik ten Hag? Hell yes. I believe he's made mistakes. And I'm beginning to question some of the decisions myself when I see some of them. But I'm still firmly behind him. I think he's a good enough coach to turn this around. I'd like to see, this Ineos situation be settled, see someone come in and get right behind him. I'd like to see the Man United fans at the games coming up get right behind him as well, and let anyone in that dressing room know that if there were any doubts, we are behind this manager, so you may as well get behind him or get out. You know what I mean? So I'm still firmly behind Ten Hag, despite the fact I believe he's made some mistakes and he's got some things wrong, but I'm hoping he can turn it around. Now, the reports that come out yesterday were that the dressing room had split, the dressing room were against the manager. This is what we heard yesterday. I'll just find that now. 1 second. Apologies. So we heard yesterday Ten Hag is battling to keep key players on side following Man United's 1-0 defeat. This was from Rob Dawson. A number of Man United players remain behind Ten Hag and his staff, but there are concerns within the club that the mood inside the dressing room will dip even further. A group within the first team squad are becoming disillusioned. A source said the absence of Martinez and Casemiro was felt due to their influence within the group. Ten Hag is trying to cool the current atmosphere within the squad by backing his players in public despite some poor individual performances. That was from Rob Dawson. We heard from Sky Sports and Cave that almost 50% of the dressing room... Did he do a poll? I don't quite get that one. That one felt like a lot of bullshit to me. And then we heard from Samuel Fuckface on MEN that the MEN and other outlets have been banned from Ten Hag's press conference today by Man United comms director Andrew Ward. A United spokesperson claims the ban was imposed because the club had not been contacted for comments on reports that Ten Hag is losing the trust of some players. Footface should have been banned an awful long time ago. Is a sad excuse of a journalist. And to be honest, a lot of these guys are. You see some of the stuff that's written about United. You see some of the stuff that goes out there. It's just abysmal journalism. Even some of the questions you hear in press conferences at times, it's like there's so much about football that fans enjoy, but these guys just go for the easy clicks, the easy captions, the easy headlines, never really trying to dig into any actual football matters. It's just all the TMZ type headlines, and I'm firmly behind Ten Hag and getting rid of some of those journalists. It'll probably be temporarily, but bang on, stand your ground. Fergie would have done the same thing. If someone's talking shit, call them out. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm firmly behind the manager in terms of that. And I would like to see a little bit more of that, just standing up. The manager has come out in his press conference after and says he feels the dressing room is behind him. There haven't been any complaints. There have been discussions and debates, and he opens the door to his dressing room or his players coming to him with any issues they may have. And he says there haven't been any issues and there aren't any splits. Obviously, when the results are bad, it's easy for people to get upset, and when you're winning, everything's easy to keep happy and all those kind of things. We need to get results. It's that simple, starting with that game against Chelsea. But for the dressing room, they need to know, if you're not behind this manager, get out. But one of the things that does frustrate me is when I hear these same players have failed all these managers. It's like, when you look at it, I looked at it earlier, there's like 6 or 7 players that have played from like Mourinho, Oli to Ten. Like, a lot of these players are Ten Hag's players as well, the players that he's brought in, or players that have just been here for the last manager in this. So it's the manager's job to keep players on side, obviously, but it's also the player's job to work hard, and when results are going bad, not just get it down, like, fight for something, roll your sleeves up, stop looking to point your fingers elsewhere and look for an excuse. Playing for Manchester United, it's not always going to be easy, it's not always going to be rosy. We're trying to build something here. Fight for it. Can't just always go looking for a new manager or a temporary change. It comes in a few good results for a little bit and then the same thing again. Nah, I'm firmly behind Ten Hag, man. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, mate. It's been mental a couple of days, hasn't it? But what have you made of it all? Do you agree with them, banning those journalists? What do you make of those reports? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, share. We'll see you in a bit.